Bring forth the audience, Alan. Wow, that really peaks out your microphone. Yeah, it totally does. Like when it.
Maybe I'm holding it too close. Let's try it. Let's
Okay.
try it
back up. Yeah, bring it back a couple inches. There we go. Sorry, there's some child walked by behind you there. That was kind of amusing.
Are we live?
We are live.
Are we on?
Oh yeah, we're on. Hey everybody, how's it going? Alan was and I. Alan was and I both together were doing something in order to test some audio thing, but I don't know. Maybe we'll have to work on that. But anyway, thank you all for coming. It's Saturday night, and we have given up telling you what episode it is because, quite honestly, it's a pandemic, and I don't think it really matters right now. So we'll call it like.
We're gonna have to figure that out though, because I mean, we kept count for how many years, and now we've completely lost count. Everything is gone.
The zombies are wandering the wasteland outside our homes.
Dogs and cats getting together in harmony.
And those ones caused an explosion! So anyway, basically what... not that anyone cares except for us. But basically what I thought we should do is kind of like when we do the episodes for the Christmas packs, that we'll just do that. We'll call it like Epidemic Episode 1 until whenever this is over. So we could go all the way until the fall. You never know! But hi, how's it going, everybody? Thank you all for coming. I'm sure that you're very excited that we're here. We are. We're excited all the time. There's never a day that we're not excited.
Night, and you know, it's a good time to drink beer with a friend or two.
That's right. Alan,
you can't get together in person, so let's do it virtually.
This is very true. We can't do anything other than this. So, Alan, what beer are you drinking tonight?
I am drinking a Fat Tug.
No, I hate you all
from
over.
Driftwood Brewing in Victoria. It's probably my favorite beer, I think. I think it's yours.
It is. It is the pinnacle of all beer must meet the rigid standards established by Driftwood to make Fat Tug, and of course that just goes without saying. The beer I'm having.
One thing I have to. What are you drinking?
Oh, the beer I'm having tonight is called the Sour. Now it's not going to show it the camera well. It's really bright. Holy cow! The Sour Wheat Ghost, which is a beer from Fieldhouse Brewing, which is a brewery out in the wilds. Oh my God! I can't. My penis can't open up this. Wow! I can't. I can't.
I think you're gonna have to explain yourself.
There we go. Sorry. Well,
I know what you're talking about, but nobody else.
This is my bally penis, and I couldn't use it properly on the bottle. The testicles were too much in the way, so I had to rotate it around and open it this way. So thank you for the bally penis. Now, this beer it has some writing on the side. Oh my God! I have to do this properly. Here we go. This is what age does to you, children. The 10th century German salted sour wheat ale, soured with lactobacillus. The tartness of this ghost is balanced by the addition of coriander and elderflower, and brewed with the finest sea salt, hand harvested by the Vancouver Island Salt Co. We believe that real goodness comes from the company of good people. Our beers are carefully crafted, easy drinking, and best enjoyed with friends. So therefore, children, when you drink beer, make sure you're doing it in your local bush parties. All right, I'm going to pour this out because I'm very curious what it smells like. Now, it's a very light beer, being that it's a ghost. It's only rocking in at 3.8%. But I'm very excited that the Peanut Gallery was able to get this for me today. Hey, Peanut Gallery, are you ready?
Oh, the Peanut Gallery went to the liquor store today.
Well, she was already out.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh wait, hang on. Real crystal glass. Don't forget. Here we go. Yep, it smells like a sour. Now, I'm very curious about this whole elderflower business. Here we go.
I'm interested. I'm not going to bother giving a review on Fat Tug. We've reviewed it before. If here
That's
on the
not
show.
bad. That is not bad at all. That kind of tastes like a, well, being that it's got a low alcohol content, but it also has, being that it's a wheat ale as well, it definitely is getting that whole light beer thing.
Let me ask you something, okay? For me, like, I like a good sour, but for me, sours have kind of run their course.
Yes.
Like, you know, I kind of got bored of them. How do you feel about, in general?
Well,
in general.
Well, they were all the rage. What, about 3 years ago? Maybe 4 years ago now. They had everywhere you went, you could not help but trip over a sour beer being made by a local brewery. And I mean, they're okay. They're all right. They're not amazing beers. I mean, I like a sour once in a while, but I think this is probably the first sour I've had in quite a while. I don't recall any sours over Christmas, and I don't recall the last time we actually did a sour. We might have done one last autumn, maybe, but I'm not sure.
Now, so what I'm getting at, okay, so if you've kind of soured on sours, does this one kind of exceed what your normal expectations are for a sour? Does this kind of like reinvigorate your interest in the style, or what? No.
It doesn't make me really excited that that is sour. Ugh. Holy tartness. I don't, to be honest, I think to me it is something that is enjoyed around a holiday. Sour beers really should be associated with Halloween. I mean, that to me is sort of the time of year where a beer is supposed to be different or strange or somehow has been messed with. Where the holidays at the end of the year, you tend to expect kind of like sweeter beers and things like that because, candy canes and blah, 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 gingerbread, that kind of thing.
How about a pumpkin spice sour?
Well, okay. I mean, going with the whole idea that it is a seasonal beer, because I mean, pumpkin is to me is overdone.
Yes.
I would like to see. But I really think that around, if you were to establish a holiday that had specifics to like a beer that you'd expect, I think a sour style is definitely around that time of year, or should be. Although I don't see that many around that time of year. Not that I'm really looking, because we're getting inundated with the pumpkin spice, the pumpkin this, the pumpkin that, around that time of year, and it kind of sucks. Because I don't know, pumpkin to me is definitely, I mean, it's a fall, is it a legume, whatever you want to call it, but it's
a squash, isn't it?
Is it a squash? I don't know, man. Is it a squash? Okay, I gotta look this up now because I need to know, because is it a... Hey, Peanut Gallery, pumpkin's a squash, right?
Yeah.
It's a winter squash?
Yeah.
What's a legume?
Like peanuts are legumes.
What?
Peas and beans.
Peas and beans, thank you. See, I stand highly corrected. But essentially, it's associated with that time of year because that's roughly when they're ripe and whatnot. So, but there must be some other things. Okay, what other things pop out in your mind as stuff that is out that time of year? Like when should that happen? Like when is that a thing for? What other things aside from pumpkins? I'm trying to think of anything else that, say, like companies like Starbucks pump out at that time of year. But I can't really think of anything because it's pumpkins.
It's pumpkin galore. It's not pumpkin. It's pumpkin spice, which is different. There's no pumpkin and pumpkin spice, and this seems to be like this thing that people are amazed about. It's like that one woman who was a health food blogger, and she put out this huge thing and caused this huge uproar because oh my God, Starbucks pumpkin spice lattes have no pumpkin in it. Like, no, it's a pumpkin spice latte, not a pumpkin latte.
Exactly.
Pumpkin spice. There's no poultry and poultry seasoning either. They're confused by the whole thing.
We have a comment. What are your guys' thoughts on the recent affair between Aiden Prophet and Blake Lambert? It's horrible. Horrible.
It is. It really is. Blake could do a lot better.
I know. You know, if Blake was really out there doing things with other people, I mean.
Did that comment come from your sister?
No, it did not. It did not.
Oh, was it?
You know, really, Blake should find somebody that makes him happy. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. I mean, if there was anything other...
Is Blake a guy or a girl?
Blake's a dude, yes. Do you not know these things? What's wrong with you, man?
I don't know who these people are.
Wow, you need to really get up on what's going on in the world, man.
Yeah, so, see, here's the thing. I'm over 40, and I have children. So, yeah, I mean, you know there was that scene in Simpsons where... Homer, when he was a teenager, says, "Yeah, man, we're gonna be with it. We're gonna be hip and everything forever." And Grandpa Simpson's like, yeah, I used to be with it, but then they changed what it was. Now what I'm with isn't it, and what's it is weird and scary to me. It'll happen to you.
Well, you know. You just have to get, you know, you got you know what you have to do. Here's what the kids are doing these days. If you are going to,
I don't want to know what the kids are doing these days.
Well, why not? Don't you?
They're doing all the TikToks and everything. And I don't want to do all that.
You don't want to get in on TikTok? TikTok's really awesome, man. You got to get on TikTok. Come on, you got to get that TikTok money.
I'll get arrested. I'll get arrested.
Another question. What are your thoughts on Andrew McCarthy blowing Richard Carter behind the high school football booth? You know, I got to say, Andrew McCarthy blowing Richard behind a high school. You know, that to me has got to be same sort of thing, man. You got to find people that make you happy, and if that's what you got to do to make yourself happy, then all more power to you, man. Get in there. You're not going to be. I'm all for blowing. You know. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a completely natural thing. It's been around for a very long time. It's not a new invention. It's something that's, you know...
I've always wanted to celebrate Steak and Blowjob Day.
You know, Steak and Blowjob Day is underrated. It should be celebrated greatly. It's March. It's the Ides of March, right? It's March 15th or March 14th.
It's the Hallmark. It's the one Hallmark holiday I support.
There you go. Steak and Blowjob Day is something you have to get behind. And I really hope that 2021 is going to be the year where that holiday becomes recognized.
As long as everybody stays at least 2 meters apart.
Yeah, I mean, part of the problem is that this is going to be a situation where we cannot get behind too many anti steak and blowjob groups. You know, there's going to be some pushback there.
Well, the steak part's easy to do. The 2 meters apart. It's the other part of that day, the holiday. Probably the more important part. I think most guys would be okay just forgoing the
extra mile.
Thing.
But again, isn't it about happiness? When you really think of it, it is really something that is. The crafty boys get behind, you know. It's just something that we have to do. I mean, there's no question that these kinds of situations, it's important. That's all I got to say. So, the beer that you're drinking, the one that. Oh my god, what are you drinking?
The Fat Tug.
The Fat Tug, thank you. Oh my god, what is in this? Yeah, I'll look at this closer.
Alcohol.
Yeah, you should call them, get more information. Anyway.
All right.
I've been derailed with us talking about Richard Carter, because
Yeah.
you know, more power to him.
So the Fat Tug, we've reviewed it before. We've talked about it, but you know what? It bears repeating. So it's brewed by Driftwood Brewing here in Victoria, BC. Really good beer. I mean, really widely known. In fact, you can buy it across the country now, which is pretty amazing, actually. And you know, I have a fear about Fat Tug for the future because the hops that they use are kind of specialty hops. They have to acquire them, and they're not grown year round. So I'm not sure how they're able to produce. Fat Tug started as a seasonal, but then it got turned into a year-round product. And it's not just year-round; it is available across the country. So they're able to produce a lot of it. So if something happened to that hop crop ever, that could spell doom for Fat Tug, which to me is the best beer that is produced out of Victoria anyway, and maybe out of BC.
Okay, I can see that. You know, it's something that I should be concerned about Fat Tug's vulnerability quite often, actually, to be honest. I mean, if Fat Tug were to disappear tomorrow, I think that I couldn't do the podcast anymore. Just knowing that the king of all craft brewed beers was gone or in danger.
If Fat Tug was gone, I'd have to question whether I'd ever drink beer again.
Now, okay, let's play a game here. Fat Tug disappeared today. Fat Tug's gone. We're never gonna have it again. What is a close contender? Because we had some pretty close competition out there.
Yeah.
What
I would say, for me, for locally, I'd be looking at Sweetleaf from Red Arrow.
Really? Which I don't. Have I had this one?
Yes,
What?
you have. We've done it on the show.
Oh, okay, good. I just don't remember it. Okay, why?
To me, it tastes the closest, or at least not taste the closest. It gives me the same feeling that Fat Tug gives me, but on its own merits.
Okay.
Like, if Fat Tug was gone, I would do fine with Sweetleaf. I think. Then after that, if we're not talking about local stuff, then I'd probably be looking at Deschutes Fresh Squeezed.
Oh, you know, that is not a terrible choice. That to me is,
And let's be
probably
clear,
one I would
love
go
it.
over. I would go over Sweetleaf, that one, but I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. It's hard. We
Well,
you know what? That's actually one episode. We should do an episode like that where we actually put Fat. If Fat Tug was like Julius Caesar, and a bunch of other IPAs walked up to him and stabbed him to death.
A2 Sweetleaf.
Exactly. Which beer would we adopt as our next Caesar? Because, you know...
Are we going to do like a blind taste test kind of thing? Like an IPA taste?
That is... yes. That is... I don't know how the hell we'll pull it off, but we have to do that. That is very true.
I think we all have to be in the same place.
I think so, because we'd have to have a control person to be able to actually go and you know, make sure that we are playing by the rules, as it were. Because if we didn't have...
Okay, so if the social distancing restrictions ever get loosened to a point where we can do that, I think we should do it.
And we should do it at your house and have one of your children be the control.
All right.
Because that way they'll be quiet. Da-da-da-da-da. Can't do that on television. So the effervescence of the beer I'm drinking just got me. Wow.
Now, you know, when it comes to other IPAs that I'm thinking of, I mean, nothing else really comes close.
Really?
Like, yeah, I'm just trying to think here. I mean, I've liked other IPAs, but not to the same level that I like Sweet Leaf and Fat Tug. And Fat Tug will come always in first. Sweet Leaf.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't found a competitor that we actually would trust enough to.
See, for me, that's Sweet Leaf. It comes pretty darn close.
Yeah, totally.
In my mind. Now, when we tried it, you didn't agree with me.
Really? Did I not? Really?
No, you didn't.
Oh. What'd I say?
I mean, you liked it, but to you, it was not a contender for Sweet Leaf.
Well, I'll have to just try it again, because obviously I could be wrong. And if I'm wrong...
Now, I have to say this about Red Arrow. I'm kind of partial to that company. They produce some really, really strong beers, even out of stuff that I wouldn't normally like lagers and pilsners. I mean, they're really good. There's one from there that I've been dying to try. I haven't tried it yet. It's a blonde ale, and they brew it specifically for the Harbor Cats, which is a baseball team here in Victoria. I can't remember what league it's part of. But anyway, they just announced they've canceled their season for this year.
Oh, that sucks.
But you can still buy the beer at the liquor store. And I kind of want to try it. I think I might go buy a 6-pack and give it a go.
Okay. I would not
be a blonde ale drinker under normal circumstances, but this one I'd be willing to try.
Now, back to the thing you were talking about earlier. Seasons of sporting events being canceled. Are you worried about the NHL? Like, because I mean, they start September, right?
Well, they start October usually.
Okay.
In actual playing. They have their training camp in September. No, I'm not worried about it. They haven't even started thinking about that. They're still thinking about resuming this season.
Oh, really?
Yes, they want to finish this season that just got suspended. They haven't let it go. So there's an idea of either playing some regular season games and then going into the playoffs, awarding the Stanley Cup by the end of summer, and then maybe starting the next season in November or even December. Right. Basketball is looking to get started up again. They're looking at bringing all the teams to, say, Vegas, and just playing out the string in Vegas.
Okay.
Major League Baseball is still wanting to have a season. I think they're going to start up. They're going to try starting up for early June, but it's going to be changed. They're going to change everything. There won't be any National League or American League. They're going to break up the teams into 3 divisions. You only play within your division.
Right.
And there'll be some rule changes and all that kind of stuff. The fear that I have with professional sports starting up again is if anybody, one person, not just a player, but like an employee or something, gets COVID in this, then all confidence is lost. And I think they're going to have to shut down for real for a long time.
Yeah,
so,
because, I mean
they're going to have to be careful.
Yeah. Well, the big concern around our household is the CFL, right? The CFL starts roughly mid-June, and it is not how shall I say, promising, because the fact that the closures of everything, and then no one really knows when things are starting up again. So we're only a month out from that start date. So another 4 weeks.
Let me ask you this, because you're a CFL fan. I'm not a CFL
Right.
But the CFL went to the feds and asked for bailout money.
Did they, or
And the feds based? Yeah, they did this past week.
Oh, really? Okay.
Because, I think they asked for 150 million or something from the feds,
Right.
and there were several MPs that said, it's like, in the grand scheme of things, we got people unemployed everywhere. $150 million to millionaire CFL owners seems like a poor use of funds. As a CFL fan, how do you respond to that? Or what's your take on it?
Well, I mean, the reality is that the CFL probably should get bail money. I would agree if it was to continue, which would be. I don't see a situation where it wouldn't continue because the CFL, the NHL, they've been around forever. But I mean, the reality is the Stampeders are owned by the same group that owns the Flames, and the Flames just got like almost $300 million themselves to survive. So I don't know. I guess it really depends on whether we want these. I mean, here's the thing: professional sports have been around for a long time. We know there's huge problems with them all over the place, and about how a lot of taxpayer money gets dumped into these situations where, I mean, in Canada, the CFL and the NHL, they get money from the government, they get money from taxpayers to do different things, like to build infrastructure and all these kinds of things. And teams are constantly threatening, oh, we're going to move because we don't have the best facility. Well, who pays for that? It's not the fucking teams. It's not going to be the NHL themselves. It's always getting taken out of our pocket because they threaten to do this, that, and the other thing. But Canada's not, the same thing happens in the States. It happens even more so there because you have the organizations like college ball level that don't even pay their players. They are always getting these bloody facilities built and la-da-da-da-da. And, with the promise that, that these people that are playing on their college level teams are going to be somehow magically upgraded into the professional league at some point in the future, maybe. And I mean, the thing is, all of these systems are broken now. Like, back when the CFL started, back when the NHL started, I'm sure that it was started with way better intentions and definitely not a vision of what it has become. So maybe it's not a bad idea to let these organizations kind of falter for a year and just kind of sit it out and wait. Now, the problem is, a lot of these organizations have signed contracts with players, and they have to honor them. They can't, just because they're not playing, unless they put a clause in, if we don't play, then you don't get paid. I somehow doubt it. I think that no one has ever, in professional sports, at the higher levels, have ever thought that, they're prepared for the odd strike here and there, when they have some sort of, dispute with players or whatever. But everyone not doing anything, sitting on their hands, I don't think has ever been guessed at. Like, what if we ever shut down entirely, but everyone else shuts down too? No, that's never been thought of.
Right.
Or even considered. Like, what situation would that ever occur except for zombie infestation or a pandemic of some sort? So
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this is the reality that we have to face. I think that these situations, these organizations, maybe it's good for them to get punched in the gut a little bit to kind of go, well, how should we manage financially in the future if this happens again? Because I think a lot of organizations are going to be thinking that in the future.
Well, and I think, like, as far as the NHL goes, I mean, yes, the finances and everything is going to be an issue, but I think what they have to do is kind of shut down for a while. Like, I think the NHL should just cancel this season. Just forget it. No Stanley Cup this year. I think Major League Baseball should shut down for this year. It's not worth it. It really isn't. And just start over again. Put all your focus on next year and see where this goes. Now, having said that, I think this is going to go well into next year and even 2022. This is going to go on until we have a vaccine in place that is mass produced enough so that everybody can be inoculated. So we're in this for the long haul.
Yeah, I mean, because this disease is out there now, this virus, and it's never going to go away. It's always going to be present somewhere. I mean, we always
it can't be bargained with.
It can't be reasoned with. It doesn't feel pity or remorse, and it absolutely
fear.
will not. Oh, I forgot. Oh, good idea. Or fear. But I think that.
Okay, what?
I totally forgot what I was going to say.
No, you can't do that. You can't do that. That's not fair. You can't say, oh, I forgot to tell you something. What is it? Oh, I can't remember. Terminator stuff.
Damn it. It's gone.
It doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear, and it will not stop ever until you are dead. It's about Linda Hamilton. It's about Terminator. James Cameron. Michael Biehn.
You know, of all the heroes that I would like to see save us from this pandemic would be Michael Biehn. I mean, that guy.
How do you say his name?
That's a good question.
That sounds like a comical name. Michael Biehn.
Michael Biehn, he's a Biener. That's a very good question. I don't actually know how to pronounce his name at all. I'm sure that we're not pronouncing it correctly. Let's ask the internet. Hey, internet, how do you pronounce Michael Biehn?
Bean.
Nope, it's pronounced Bean. According to the internet, it's pronounced Bean, just like you hear it.
I bet you he drives like a Mini and has like a lazy boy on the top.
Okay.
He's jury-rigged the steering wheel and everything. He's going to Harrods.
Well, you never know, because honestly, I picture him in like the full-on minivan, that kind of thing. But yeah.
So getting back to the sports thing, you know what I feel sorry for?
What?
So here in Victoria, Little League Baseball. Okay, this is for kids up to age 12. My kids are not involved in it anymore. They've aged out of it. But Little League Baseball has this sort of a tradition every year where they do these district tournaments to decide who gets to play in the provincial tournaments, who gets to play in the national tournaments, and that represent Canada Little League World Series. Well, Little League World Series has been canceled for this year, as has all of the district tournaments and national tournaments and everything. And unfortunately, Leyritz Little League here in Victoria had been, I think like 6 or 7 years ago, awarded the national championship for this year. They have been working tirelessly, improving the park, getting television contracts with like TSN and CBC and stuff like that. They have put a lot of effort into their hosting the Canadian National Championships for this year, and it's canceled for nothing. No fruits of their labor. I feel sorry for them. As somebody who was with a rival park when my kids played Little League, I mean, it's a bad situation all around. I was looking forward to seeing the national stage here in Victoria this year for the first time in a very, very long, I think it's been decades since it's been here. I was looking forward to that. And somebody was saying, well, they could just do it next year. No, they can't do it next year because next year's was awarded like 6 years ago to somebody. and the year after that was awarded 5 years ago. So, you know, the soonest they could get to do it again is maybe in about 8 years.
Right.
Which sucks. I mean, it really sucks. Especially for those kids. All those kids that at Les Ritz that have been training for that event. I mean, if they won that tournament in their home park, they would have gotten a ticket to the Little League World Series. They've been training for that for the past 5 years. Those kids, those particular kids, have been training for it for 5 years, and it's just been ripped away from them. And they don't get another chance at it. Once you hit 12 years of age, that's it, you're done. So those kids, they're 12 now, they're done. I feel bad for them. I really do.
Well, you know.
That was the opportunity of a lifetime.
Yeah. I just learned something about Michael Biehn while you were talking about baseball there.
Oh, sure.
He's going to be in the second season of The Mandalorian.
Oh.
I gotta say.
So is apparently Rosario Dawson.
Yeah, she's playing Ahsoka.
Ahsoka.
Yeah, which will be very interesting.
Which, you know what? I mean, great. That's fantastic. I love Rosario Dawson. I would have much preferred to see Ashley Eckstein play
Really?
Ahsoka. Yes. So Ashley Eckstein,
she was
for anybody
she was
who
the
doesn't
voice
know, Ashley
person,
Eckstein does the voice of Ahsoka in the Clone Wars and everything else cartoons.
Yeah.
And you know what? I mean, she's pretty good looking. I mean, I think she could pull off Ahsoka like in costume.
Well, I mean,
Like she's not like 300 pounds or anything. I mean, she could pull off Ahsoka. Maybe she doesn't have any physical acting chops. I don't know. I think.
well, I mean, that's a very good question because there are people that are just voice actors that are only voice actors. So it's not necessarily guaranteed that the person.
So the question is then, if Ashley Eckstein has done the voice of Ahsoka in every single thing that the character has ever been portrayed in, do you think Ashley Eckstein will then give the voice for Ahsoka in The Mandalorian?
No.
And they'll just put over Rosario Dawson?
I doubt it. My assumption is that they'll just let her do the voice as well, and maybe she'll practice. She'll start some training to match the voice or get as close as possible. It's not impossible for an actor to do that. So, my assumption is that probably will occur, but I don't see them dubbing an actor like that. I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things that you kind of hope that the actor will match it from previous performance. My assumption is that as well. I mean, because Darth Vader, the Emperor, actors that are doing their voices in different animated things do a pretty decent job. I mean, they're not.
They do.
It's not like you're watching. I don't know. I want to say not the Mandalorian, but the. You're not watching some sort of after-school special. You're hoping that the.
Right.
That kind
And
of stuff, so.
I'm going to say this. So, and I know you haven't seen Rebels.
I have not yet. No, I'm just about at the
Okay.
end of season 5 of Clone Wars, so I have one more to go. And then has the 7th season
No, you still
dropped
have
yet?
season 7.
Yeah, but has it dropped yet though? I don't even know.
Oh, yes, it has.
Okay, so it did start. Okay, so once I'll burn through that one, and then I'll jump into Rebels, and
Okay.
then
So,
which is not
there's
as
an
long.
No.
And then there's
There-
Resistance, which you don't like.
No, don't even bother.
Okay.
They're in the final season of Rebels. There's a scene with old Ben Kenobi
Hmm.
on Tatooine, and the guy that they got to do the voice sounds amazingly like Alec Guinness.
Really?
Yes, like I was blown away by how good he sounded, how close he sounded to Alec Guinness.
Well, that is actually kind of cool because I mean, Alec Guinness is one of those actors that he's had enough coverage in a variety of different things, where his voice, like, there's lots of things for an actor who wants to do an imitation of him,
Yeah.
would be able to pull from. So it wouldn't be difficult, and I think that anyone trying to imitate the actress doing Ahsoka now, or well, did. That there's plenty there for her to kind of to go from. Yeah, I don't know. It would be a shame if they didn't or if they did dub it, which would be weird to me. But especially when half the time when dubbing is done, like it's just slightly, it's just that much off where your brain goes, that person's not really talking. Or the editing of the audio is not as great as it could be, and that kind of thing. So, because it's easier to do things like Chewbacca hanging on the back of a train that's flying through the sky, than somebody actually speaking. So, somebody who's speaking who's not the native speaker, who's not the actual person. But I don't know. I'm nerding out now. If they used the right frequency and made sure that the voice was, to the nanosecond, then matched to the movement of the actor's lips, then therefore the professional courtesy would be given to the audience, who the audience would, of course, begin to appreciate the level of complexity that it is to make an individual talk like they're not in one of those poorly dubbed
like the English
Japanese
teacher
movies.
in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. In
What way
does the
prison in our discussion of irony? Now, there's a film that I gather is in danger of being remade. Have you heard this recently?
What? No.
Oh yeah. Apparently, there's a push somewhere in some production company to redo Ferris Bueller, to redo 16 Candles, basically anything that was touched by John Hughes. They want to redo Home Alone.
John Hughes stuff should be off limits.
I agree. I think it should be just like E.T. E.T., the people that created it said, no, this will never, ever be done again. It's been done. Go tell your own stories. Don't remake this one. Or have a sequel, for that matter. Which I think is very brave of people in the climate at the time.
Now, but the thing is here that I think we are going to have to allow some of our childhood most revered childhood films to be remade, because this is what Hollywood does. They remake things.
No, that's true.
They don't create anything new.
If they touch Mac and me, I'll be so upset. I will start a petition online.
Yeah, but I mean, like Ferris Bueller, I would say no.
Well, they did it.
Wars
They did it as a
related.
TV show, did they not? Where they did Ferris Bueller's Day Off as a TV program.
They did a Ferris Bueller's TV show, but they also did sort of like I think it was a copy of another TV show called Parker Lewis Can't Lose. The Parker Lewis Can't Lose was kind of set to be like a TV version of Ferris Bueller's, and then somebody, I guess, industrial espionage or whatever, so another network got wind of it, so they said, well, let's make an actual Ferris Bueller's thing.
Yes,
I think Parker Lewis Can't Lose was actually better.
Who did Ferris Bueller in that show? I'm trying to remember. I can't remember. There was I can't think of it, but it was somebody who has a recognizable face. So anyway,
Right.
But yeah, Parker Lewis Can't Lose.
So-
I remember watching that a little bit. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I did do some of that. So
Yeah. Okay, let me ask you this: if they wanted to do a remake of Back to the Future,
I would be very
Like a reboot.
sad.
I would be sad.
I would be that
I would
you
be
know.
angry. I would be angry.
You'd want to.
But does that take away from the original? I mean, you could still watch the original. Like, okay, so let's look at the Indiana Jones series.
Okay.
A lot of people refuse to acknowledge Crystal Skull.
This is true.
They say that it's a trilogy. There's 3 movies. There was a 4th movie, but they don't acknowledge it.
Okay.
So, couldn't you just choose to not acknowledge the remake?
You know, that is a very good point, because I would be in that party of people who go, there are 3 Indiana Jones films, and then there's a 4th one, kinda. I mean, there's some really good moments in that 4th one. Have you ever seen the interview with Steven Spielberg, where he basically throws George Lucas under the bus on that? He's like, yeah, no, that movie was all George. I directed it, but I
haven't, but I've heard about it.
Yeah, he doesn't really mince words. He does sort of talk about his very disappointed relationship at the time when they did it. Wasn't it? It was before Lucas sold, right? Or was that after? I can't remember.
No, it's before.
So, but yeah. So he basically, I guess they agreed to make the film that was made, but Spielberg was not 100% happy about it. He was a little disappointed because I guess he really sort of pushed it upon him to make it the way he thought it should be made. So I mean, it honestly, it is kind of a cool idea. For knowledge was their treasure. But it really could have been done far better. I think that the story that they told it had more issues than you'd be comfortable with, especially with the swinging with the monkeys in the jungle. There are some of those things that really fall into that jump the shark moment, or what's it? Jump the shark or something else? How else do you phrase that? But essentially, yeah, that they really should have. Somebody at some point should have said, "Okay, George, love the script, but let's not have this be the prequels, please. Can we actually tell a proper story, because we're entering a realm of movie making where your style of filmmaking doesn't have enough realism anymore. People want more realism. There's these movies called the Marvel films, and they've been around for a couple years. Maybe we should think about looking at that, see where they're going with it, before your company gets eaten up. Oh, surprise! So, yeah, I mean, the part of the problem is that I would fear movies like that being redone because the individuals making them are our age now, or slightly older than we are, and
so let's go a little bit further than that.
Yeah.
Let's say Universal approached you, Shane, and said, "Hey, Shane, we want to reboot Back to the Future series. We're going to do a remake. We want you to helm it. Would you do it?"
I would probably say no.
Oh.
I wouldn't want to be that guy. I wouldn't want to be that guy who said, "I'll totally do it," and then, it blows up in your face.
And you know what? It would blow up in your face. No matter what you do, you could make the greatest movie ever. It will blow up in your face.
I mean, one film that I'd like to be done again, is the film Stand By Me. Um,
Mm.
that is one of the few films on my list that I would love to see it done again, with a modern cast, of course, and you know, that kind of thing.
Fact.
But to a certain
Actually, you know what I would love to see remake
what?
is Flight of the Navigator.
Oh, that's actually a very good. Oh, that's a good choice, because that would be. Yeah,
Or the
with
Last
with
Starfighter.
the
Okay,
last.
more.
I would say The Last Starfighter definitely is a good idea, but part of the charm of that film is the fact that the special effects are so, well, by our standards today, are bad. But it also, but it, at the same time, gave it a personality. Actually, you know, to be honest, if that film were to be remade, the special effects would have to be of that same age.
Okay.
Like of that. Okay, I'd be somewhat okay with that. But sorry, what was the other one? The Last Starfighter and
Yeah, Flight of the Navigator.
Flight of the Navigator. Now, Flight of the Navigator is one that I think deserves to be remade in a very good, you know, because that film was ahead of its time in the special effects realm, and
Totally.
they didn't do a terrible job. I mean, I haven't seen it in many years, but
I actually watched it with my youngest son,
okay,
maybe 3 months ago,
okay.
and he was actually really entertained by it. So it holds up today.
Yeah, I think special
Yeah.
effect wise, it's actually not that bad, but definitely it is something that I would like to see done again. I mean, hell, Disney's redoing everything else. Why not pick a random film like that and do that? I mean, try to who was in it?
I don't remember his name.
Howard Hessman's in it. Why?
Howard Hessman in it. And then beyond that, Sarah Jessica Parker was actually in it.
Really?
Yeah.
That I do not remember at all. The only reason I remember Les Nessman being in it is, Howard Hessman being in it. Did I say Les Nessman? Howard Hessman being in it.
Fever.
Is that it came out in what? I want to say 85, 84?
I think it was probably like 86, 87.
86. So I mainly because you know, WKRP in Cincinnati was so fresh in my mind, and Howard Heston's one of those actors that I wish really got far more screen time. I mean, he's been in a bazillion things, yes, but he's one of those actors that, you know, I feel. I mean, he might not feel this way at all. So, but I feel that as a fan of his, that it would have been cooler to see him in more. I would have liked to have seen him in like the Marvel films as some sort of important character, you know, that they got a lot of screen time and appeared in multiple films and, you know, had some pivotal role to play. Just because I think he was cool. I mean, the Johnny Fever thing I think was probably one of the easiest gigs that he had to do. Just from, you know, he made it look effortless to play that character, and you know, to me it wasn't a very difficult character to play. But you know, I just kind of wish I'd seen him more often. But again, he's probably 900 years old, so what am I saying? Actually, let me look him up. How old is Howard Hessman now? Howard Hessman. Howard. Did I spell his name right? Howard. Yep, there we go. He's, oh my god, he's 80 years old. Holy cow. Wow. Really? That's fascinating. I guess, yeah, according to his Wikipedia page, he retired in 2016. So, but there you go. I mean, wow. Another film, actually, you know, I'd like to see redone, not because it was a good film particularly, but because it was, I think I'm all by myself. I think Alan died. See, if Alan's over there, I just realized that he went dead silent, and his voice is gone now. I'm having a good time. Oh, there you go. So he's back. So you froze for like a good 15, 20 seconds there. I was talking and then I realized I couldn't hear you. And then I saw it. I looked at your face and you were like... and I was like, oh, he's gone. Sorry, I was just saying that...
Am I back?
You're back now. The film I would like to have seen, or see done again, would be something like Blue Thunder. You know...
Oh...
Like something
or
like that.
An Airwolf movie.
An Airwolf movie? Totally an Airwolf movie. I would buy into that too. Like that
Yes.
to me would be cool. I mean, we keep seeing films like what was that one that got turned into like 900 TV shows? The Gate, Stargate.
Oh, Stargate.
Which I gather was filmed here in town, but I've never watched it. I saw the movie. I thought the movie was, it was all right, but it didn't grab me, I guess, as much as other things. But Babylon 5, another program that I think would be deserving of a reboot, because it's sort of that show that's sort of in between Star Trek and Star Wars.
Yeah.
But also a film that I would really like to see is a remake of oh good lord, it just had it left my mind. Never mind, I just lost the title. But although speaking of star travel and space and stuff, I played a game recently again. I played it a couple of years ago called Alien Isolation, which is the whole... Have you ever heard of this? I've ever talked about it? No? Anyway, long story short, it's 15 years after Alien. Amanda Ripley, the Sigourney Weaver's daughter character, is basically has become an engineer. She's running around, doing engineering stuff. And then she hears about somebody has found the wreckage or some pieces of the Nostromo from the film. So... the original film. So she goes seeking, because they said, oh, we have all the audio logs. And she's like, I gotta hear these audio logs and whatnot. Anyway, blah, 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 alien. She goes to this particular space station out in the middle of nowhere, and, alien. So, but that's not the point. The point is the game is very photorealistic in a lot of ways, where they basically took the 1970s film and said, that's the style, we're making the game in that style. But after having played it again, I realized that is what space for us is going to be like. It's not going to be Star Wars, it's not going to be Star Trek, it's going to be like Alien, because everything is basically... We have to do this very complex task to redirect this dish, or to dock this thing, or to blow that thing out the airlock. It's all very rudimentary. Oh, what do I got to do? I'll just pull that lever. That lever, that's it? Yeah, just that one lever, just pull it. Okay, and it's going to do 5 things. What are those things? Not important. Just pull it. And if it doesn't work, there's a backup around the next hallway. Do that thing. You're going to press 2 buttons, you're going to turn a dial, and then you're going to hit another button, and then the thing that didn't work before will happen anyway. Like all these redundant kind of things. And I got to say, it struck me the other day as, yep, this is what space travel is going to be like. It's going to be sleeping chambers, and it's going to suck. Because we're going to get eaten by aliens. But there you go. Anyway, on that rambling note, we've been streaming for an hour, so it's time for us to go to bed. And we have been, surprisingly enough. And don't forget, we are streaming every Wednesday night at around 9 p.m. Pacific time, where we drink beer and talk about it. Right now, who knows what we'll talk about, but hopefully you'll enjoy us rambling and it'll maybe put you to sleep. You never know. But and also there's sometimes usually 4 of us here, not just us. But it's Saturday night, damn it, and we can do what we want. And we've had a beer. So tonight's beer was Fieldhouse Brewing's Sour Wheat Ghost, and Alan, of course, is drinking the pinnacle of all IPAs, Fat Tug from Driftwood Brewing in Victoria, BC. And Fieldhouse, by the way, is I said it earlier, but it's in Abbotsford, here in the Lower Mainland. Alan, as always, take us out.